Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome once again to the third in series of the Legacy of Leadership Knowledge series that we began earlier this year, uh, January 2023 to be precise. Am I audible clearly? Great. So, a couple of words on why legacy of leadership. So, we thought of this title because we realize that all of us are in this business, in this activity of gems and jewelry, where trust is the strongest underpinning pillar of the business, and trust is something which keeps getting stronger. It keeps growing by the day as the legacy adds year after year to its long drawn tenure. So, that is where the word legacy comes from. And then there are values which are absolutely timeless in nature, and they are practiced generation after generation, one after the other, making the foundation of the business strong, foundation of the legacy really stronger by the day. And so it is these values that also somehow manifest in leadership for the business that is being conducted. So that's how legacy of leadership. And we are really very privileged to have with us today Mr. Ashraf Motiwala as our person who we are, I mean, the interviewee who we are going to, address all our questions to, and he is going to share with us, his understanding and his insights about not just the title, but also all that he has been doing this while. So, a couple of words about Ashraf. Ashraf was born in the Basra Pearls family, who also enjoyed the rare distinction of being the first private jeweler to royal families and the British Raj. He's the fourth generation to carry forward the mantle or the legacy of leadership, so to say, of A.S. Motiwala. At the appropriate time, he made sure that the wall of his well appointed office gets decorated with the GIAGG diploma, which he earned in 2022 from the Carlsbad campus.
2002.
Oh, sorry, 2002. Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's fine.
Instead of two zeros,
Because I celebrated 20 years this year.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks for correcting. And really sorry for that slip.
That's
So, the brand AS Motiwala, which is already global, it has been honored for 6 consecutive years from 2012 to 2017, having received the title for the Best Diamond Jewelry of the Year award at the prestigious Retail Jeweler India Award. Under Ashraf's direction and in response to shifting consumer behavior, the brand AS Motiwala modernized its offerings with the launch of the signature brand Faith by AS Motiwala. Winner of the Inspirational Leader of India in the year 2020 and a design-centric jeweler himself, Ashraf continues to lead AS Motiwala with its over 118 years legacy while crafting contemporary jewels and designs for the discerning new generation. Those of you who might have met him or might have interacted with him, I mean, I happen to have that distinction one more time, I should say, would have found his warm, amiable demeanor absolutely disarming. And with no unplaced pride or prejudice, even a stranger could talk to him with ease and one's head held high, partly also because he stands 6 feet 4 inches tall as he walks the planet. So with that,
that's a good one, yeah.
so with that, I now request Manisha to take this forward with her questions. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I'm butting in. Apurva, thank you for such a kind introduction. I'm honored and I'm humbled. Thank you.
Sure. My privilege too. Thank you.
Thank you, Apurva sir. And wow, that's quite an introduction. We all are now very curious to listen to a lot of stories that will come from you. To start with, Mr. Ashraf, can you take us through your journey of being a fourth generation jeweler to having a successful brand established and leading it and having this wonderful journey? Can you take us through that?
Sure, I would love to. I would love to. So as the story goes, I'll take you through the generations. So it started with the first generation, that is my great grandfather. He used to, so in fact, our surname Motiwala itself comes from our profession. So it used to be my great grandfather used to, in those days, of course, the British were there, and there were princely states. So he used to be the Basra pearl dealer, right? He used to be the one who would travel to. In fact, I would love to share some kind of snippets later. Where he would travel to the Persian Gulf in 1905, 1915 to pick up Basra pearls, and we have some documents to prove that. So when he would enter Darbar, or he would enter a court, in those days, the announcement used to be there, Motiwala aaya hai. I mean, the Motiwala has come, the pearl man has come.
Yeah.
That's how our surname caught on. So, I have a lot to thank all the generations above me. Then it moved to my grandfather. Of course, my great-grandfather established a great reputation. If he was dealing with these kind of people, of course, he was very trusted. He was known for his word. But unfortunately, when my grandfather was 7 years old, he passed away. However, my grandfather revived the business back, of course, when he educated himself and he was brought up by his aunt, revived the business back purely on his father's name and credit. So imagine 20 years later, he walks into the market and says, I'm so-and-so's son. And people would hand over parcels to him and say, okay, you can go sell it. We entrust you and you can get it back. So humble beginnings for sure.
Yeah.
To revamp that, my father joined my grandfather in 1983. And they were one of the first ones to set up the first jewelry store in Bandra. So we were the first ones to have a jewelry store. It was always Zaveri Bazaar and Uses Road. And we're the first ones who opened up there. That's where my father came in with his father, started helping him out. Needless to say, they have, all the major toiling and the major hard work and winning a customer at a time, and trust all was on their shoulders. And I think they did a fantastic job with it. Also, so that's the third generation. Dad comes in, his brothers join. Huge expansions under Dad's leadership. We start having being the first store in Bandra. All the Bollywood used to stay in Bandra and Juhu.
Yeah.
So needless to say, we became the choice of jewelers to them. And then, of course, that's how the reputation started building. And the clear philosophy of that generation was, your reputation is hard earned. We don't need to do anything besides just do things very ethically, do things very simply, and we are there already. So I think a lot of building happened by my father. He was the one who actually took our brand international and started exports. And in those days was doing gold jewelry and some amount of diamond jewelry. I walk in fourth generation about 20 odd years back. And then, of course, I started learning grassroots level. It was tough love. It's a joint family. I have 4 uncles. So it was tough love. So I had to go to the factory, run around in the trains, go to set one diamond, get one diamond. Super intrigued with the whole business idea of it, but not convinced if this was what I want to do. GIA happened to me. And this is why I stress it, because this is the honest truth. 2002, my father said, why don't you go to Carlsbad, educate yourself in diamonds, see how you feel about it. We never had it in our time. Why don't you see? Because I was slowly and surely getting out of the business. I was telling him, Dad, I'm working with you for X amount of years, but I'm interested in law or something else. The magic happened there. Honestly, the magic happened there when I started studying a diamond, right? Because in our days, it used to be, this diamond has a flaw. My dada and my father would say, isme jiram hai, isme dag hai, isme never knew cavities, fractures, blemishes, and I have all the GIA teachers, right? When I started understanding the subject better, I realized that, wow, diamond is such a fascinating thing. Why should I be looking out anywhere else? There's this whole amount of generations who have worked ahead of me and built a reputation. Having said that, their style of working was a little different. Every generation brings their own expertise, I would say. So, without saying anything. So there was some amount of contention in how to grow the business. No one wanted to grow the business. We started seeing, and since I came into the business, I started seeing a lot of our value. We were first the only jewelers in Bandra. Now we are one of the many jewelers in Bandra, right? So of course we did lose some amount of customer retention was tough. Our designs would not evolve because we had that ideology of contentment, nothing else but being like, we worked hard. People are still coming to us now. People are still buying, right? People still trust us. It's okay. Right. We don't change so much about us. We don't need to reinvest and redeploy. I think that's when the thing happened. So I worked for 15 years under their leadership and learned a lot. But besides that, I also found a lot of loopholes that were there everywhere, right? And which I wanted to correct as the fourth generation. And so then we kind of amicably parted ways. Of course, my father is my boss. He came, he's with me, he supports my vision. And we revamped everything. So we started advertising, which a company never did. And of course, we'll follow up on more questions, but basically that's the whole, we created a new store, a new style. And I have to tell you why we did this, right? My concept was, we used to travel, all of us travel. We used to walk into maybe a LV store or any branded store and maybe looking at something worth $1,000.
Right.
But the amount of service and the visual merchandising and everything that comes with it for the $1,000 purchase. And here it was $10,000, right? At least.
Right.
But there was no experience. There was no customer experience. It was business as usual. It didn't give that feel of luxury. It didn't give that feel of personalization. It didn't give that feel of designing something brilliant. I mean, we are doing diamonds and gold. Let's not catalog it. Let's just be brilliant in design. So I think I bought these little odd changes that third generation was, I wouldn't say averse to, but were contented in general.
Right.
And I basically thought that the brand is losing market share and losing certain things because we had many people doing things in a better way for sure. And I thought it was time for me to make those changes.
Make those changes, right. A lot is also to do with the visual appeal of your store, the retail setup. A lot matters.
Exactly. So we went to the drawing board. To be honest, as I told you, I had 15 years to see all the loopholes that I saw in the existing business.
Learning all the rules of
learning everything, and I learned everything from grassroots level. So as I told you, I've traveled in trains. I've melted gold. I've sat with setters. I've sat with diamond setters. I've tried to understand why are you setting it like this and why can't it be better and what is all that. So basically, I got a lot of training from grassroots to practical to how to talk to consumers, understand consumer insights. And then when it was time to do it, I thought I should do it in a little different way, which reflects a little more of me.
Right. So I'm sure you would relate with this proverb, learning all the rules and then kind of breaking them.
It's my most favorite line as I was, So So to break the rules, you must master them first.
You must master.
Yeah. So I think that's what that used to be what I used to love. It's a tagline from a Swiss watch company that I used to love, and I think I adapted that very early in my life. And I think that also made all the difference because I really started believing that, you can break that glass ceiling and you can create a better product without compromising your ethics and your legacy. Maybe just add to your legacy. Every generation needs to do that. I think this was my calling.
Right. So my next question was actually going to be, it was about your philosophy on diamonds and how your brand differentiated itself from others in the market. You have won several awards. So what sets this brand apart from the others?
Yeah. So lovely question. Thank you for that. I'm very passionate about this. Let me know if I'm taking too much time. So I will.
It's all going fine. No.
Thank you. So when it comes to this is exactly where the magic happened, right? Is because what we wanted to do, what I wanted to, what the vision was that, okay, the brand has a great following, it has great trust. There are great ethics in place, but there are certain amount of loopholes that have to be addressed. We have to also become more conscious of how we do business and so on and so forth. So there has to be some amount of restructure happening in the company. So all that actually took us much ahead. So this is one logic of it. The second thing, what was really missing in the Indian jewelry market was quality of designs and finish. What happened is, since the Shah Rukh Khan ad of the Dish TV Santush Hai, like everyone was happy with a certain standard of design, a certain standard of finish, and didn't know better, right? And I mean, we all have traveled to Italy, and we see those shows, and we go to Hong Kong shows, and we see how well they finish that jewelry, right? So it was always a passion of mine, saying that if I do something different, I would want to learn how to do this. So I actually went to Thailand when I was, I think 22, 23 years old, worked in a factory, learned how they set baguettes because they were the best setters of baguettes. And I was very intrigued with that cut. got all those learnings, aligned myself very well with like-minded people who know that, what, we want to create something nice.
Right.
And just went totally all out in all directions to make sure that there's newness in everything, newness in design, newness in store, newness in experience, and a highly finished and a highly designed product, not the catalog jewelry that you get in every other store.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's where the idea of the Make in India jewelry also.
So for sure. So, so here we align with new machinery, and here we do now the differentiator for this store. And I would say this is actually what worked by the grace of God in our favor. Is rose gold was not in the market then. Rose gold was a very international gold color, accepted. No one had tried it in India. It was a little tough to work with also as an alloy.
Yeah.
I took that, we and my alliances took that upon us to introduce rose gold. Another thing in India, and I'm sure we have a lot of Indians here, is in those days, I'm talking in 2012, 2010, people were very adverse to getting anything besides round diamonds. The thing was, round diamonds have investment value, the rest don't, right?
Yeah.
We created a line with rose gold and 80% fancy shaped diamonds and 20% round. And we launched a brand new store with 80% of our jewelry being in rose gold and the rest being in white and yellow. And we took our chance. So it was a gamble. I'll never forget what my father told me the first time I showed him the stock I produced. He's saying, "You're betting on this color." So I said, "Yeah." And he's saying, "What if people don't like it? 80% of your stock is in this and you're launching like that." I said, "No, Dad, I'm pretty sure I've done something different and it'll work in our favor." And by God's grace, that was the differentiator, that we are known to be pioneers in rose gold in India.
Wow, that's amazing and very interesting.
Thank you.
Right. So, you said you actually went to the ground level to understand and love everything. I mean, learn everything about the jewelry making and the designs and everything. Are you ever perturbed by your designs being copied, the plagiarism aspect of it? Do you really look into whether they're being copied or no? Are you worried by them?
So if you would have asked me this between 2012 and 2014 or 16, when we were winning these awards, right? A lot of our jewelry is very highly engineered. We take pride in finishing our jewelry better than anyone else and still trying to maintain value. And as I told you, keeping the ethics in check, keeping the value, letting the consumer feel, who's a generation consumer with us, that, we always get value with the store. There, of course, profits are important for the business, but you know what I mean. So keeping all that in mind, we won all these awards for some of our pieces. And there was a piece that won an award in the top category of retail jeweler. Never happened in retail jeweler, that won 2 awards for that one necklace. Normally one piece gets 1 award and the other. In this piece, the jury chose that one thing for 2 awards. So it was a great necklace. We broke the glass ceiling, and that I don't think has happened yet in retail jeweler, that one piece gets 2 top categories. So anyway, so long story short, that needless to say is all over the Instagram and everything, and that got copied. Long story short, I contacted the jeweler. I put a case against him. I had patents on it. And it's just a crazy process. I mean, I got nowhere. You know how it is in this country.
Yeah, true.
That's when the switch happened, and we try to stay agile. So that's when I said, okay, people will copy. Instagram is there, social media is there. That's how your brand is known. True. The best way to combat that is don't repeat a design. Do it, make a new one. Do it, make a new one. Right? Number 1, that. Number 2, and most important, I think my mindset, which really helped us get the brand to another level, was invent. So invent. So we've invented 2 or 3 collections that we brought to life. For the next guy to copy me, like the rose gold story, right? When we started 80% rose gold, for rose gold to come into the market took a year and a half. Till then, I had monopoly on that color.
True.
Now is a similar philosophy that, just be inventors rather than just doing the same stuff. We've invented 2 new collections. I think from 2020 onwards, we've changed our sales a bit. And I'm happy to say that it looks like we are ahead of the competition, and it'll take time to catch up.
Right. We always have that first movers advantage.
So my advice is don't worry about the copying part, because that is bound to happen. You rather change your mindset, maybe be more of an inventor, and maybe have that philosophy that, there are so many beautiful designs to be manufactured. Let's have fun.
Absolutely. While you were mentioning about this, you also mentioned about Instagram.
Yeah.
That brings me to the next question. Do you see technology playing a very important role in the future? How do you continue incorporating innovation? And since this is, this is a generation-run business, was it easily accepted by the family that you're going into the tech way?
So yeah, so this is a lovely question. Thank you for this one as well. So of course, I think 2020 taught us a lot.
Yes.
This being one of the lessons that we learned. We are so used to meeting our customers face to face, and we are so used to that interaction, and something that we look forward to as well.
Yes.
Joy. And then suddenly comes the lockdown, and our consumers are a lot of our consumers are also out of the country. We do have some. So I'll give you an instance of we went on a Zoom, and we were catering to a royal family of Saudi Arabia for a princess's wedding, and we first time made a sale in half an hour, or I would say 45 minutes, where we had 20 family members all approving yes, 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 yes. Normally this process would be they fly down, they
Yeah.
then the father flies down, he approves. It has to go through, it's also a conservative society, so it has to go through some amount of approvals.
Yeah.
I got this done in half an hour. So I mean,
Wow.
it was such an enabler for us.
Yes.
And then, of course, then we also took our brand Faith Online, which is which we earlier not even thought of doing, because we are so busy with our brick and mortar. We took Faith Online. Now Faith Online has turned into a beautiful digital catalog. We used to have consumers from the States say, message us at 8 p.m. Hey, can you send us some images? I'm coming down, or my wife is coming down, and we want to see something. At 8 p.m., my store is shut. So my reply would be like, yeah, sure, tomorrow we'll call you. Now I just tell them, hey, just go to Faith Online. It's at faithbyasm.com. You go there, you snapshot what you like. You either add to basket and pick it up at office, or do it. So I mean, it's enabled for sure.
Absolutely.
And we are now even looking into what more we can do, because tech is also helping a lot with inventory management these days. Right.
Absolutely.
So
Yes,
so the tech. So I would say the tech bug has kind of bitten me quite strong from 2020. I'm happy. I have a team now in place who handles business development as well, and she looks into all these little things that are happening. So we have synergy in that. And to answer your last question, my family has always from day one been very supportive, even if they don't understand what I'm up to. I think by now they've learned there's some method in my madness, and maybe just let him do what he's doing.
There's faith now.
That's faith. There's a reality. And that was always there. I think
Yes.
it's stronger now. It's
stronger now. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So, a little curious to know, with a lot of innovation, a lot of technology playing an important role, over the past few decades, what has AS Motiwala done to preserve and celebrate its cultural and traditional values, and also adapting to the changing market trends?
So again, I'll being a legacy jeweler. I'm sorry, I have a lot of stories that have built me so far.
You're
So
enjoying them.
I'll share something that's very close to my heart. I was extremely close to my grandfather. First day of work that I go to him, I'm all suited and booted. These guys wear shirt and pants. I put a tie on, become the next generation. I was super excited. I walk in, I go to seek his blessings, and I kiss his hand, and I tell him, this is my first day at work. So like, okay, come sit here before you go out. Sit with me. And he told me something. He's saying, see, son, remember one thing, that if you tell a consumer this has 1.09 carats of diamonds, if he ever has to open it, it should be 1.10, but not 0.8. It can be 9, but it cannot be one lower. If you say it's 18 karat gold, it better, if it's melted, come 18.1, not 17.9. Yes, after you being honest and declaring, because in those days certification was also not there, so it's your he's saying, if you can be honest and declare what you're selling to the consumer, do not cheat them on that. Command your price, because you feel you've worked hard for it. Say that, hey, you know what, I think I need to earn so much. But do not do this ever. Do not ever cheat someone, because if you ever cheat one, that one person is going to take 10 away. And this is not the way you're going to sustain business. So I was like, okay, great, Dada, thank you for your advice. And I was rushing out. And he's like, no. go back home. So I was like, oh, I got ready. It took me 2 hours to get ready. I want to attend my first day at work. He's saying, no, go back home. Think about what I said. Tomorrow will be your first day. And trust me, believe it or not, I'm repeating the story after 23, 24 years. The reason I know it so clearly today is because he sent me home that day. I was so excited that I would have forgotten about it in my excitement of first day at work and meeting everyone and, whatever it was. The fact that he sent me home and he made me reflect on that, I hold on to those principles so tightly. In fact, to honor him, I've added one more zero. So it's not 1.09, now it goes 1.090. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So these are few values that you've learned. This
which
is
I've learned.
the
So
legacy.
yes. So I'm holding on to the ethics. I'm holding on to actually the things that I've learned, also life lessons and life skills, right?
True.
And besides this, even culturally, how do we adapt? Now our brand we have 11 stores with the Taj group of hotels. Our faith is in 11 Taj locations.
Nice.
The reason we chose that, because culturally, luxury wise, legacy wise, it connects so beautifully, the two brands.
Correct.
And also the fact that they chose me over Tanish speaks about some amount of them liking our designs more than generic designs, because it's a well-traveled, all well-travelers I'd rather stay at the Taj group of hotels. And, so it's a lovely association that I have. They have a brand called Khazana. So I'm directly intertwined with the Tatas there.
That's brilliant. Very nice.
Thank you.
Great. While you were telling us a few stories, you mentioned that you all have catered to the royal families and the celebrities in Bandra, and a lot of such HNIs also. Would you share with us some memorable customer experience that you had during your journey?
So I have many of these. I think one that actually, and I was just recently thinking about this, right? So I have many of these, but besides me meeting these individuals, right? Being a jeweler and being a private jeweler, if I may, we do enjoy some amount of H&I, some amount of course, people who come from X amount of wealth. And also corporates. I mean, I would say, the top few 15 richest people in India, I would have a couple of them shopping with me. But the experience of having the one-to-one with these people, I mean, there's no secretary, there's no CEO. I'm talking to the person who's buying it for his wife. So there's a lot of love exchange. There's a lot of wealth talk exchange. And besides selling jewelry to them, of course, I get to have coffee with them. This is a process. So, it's the whole choosing of which is a good stone, what's the price. So we get so close, right? I doubt many professions in this world today, and at least me, for where I come from, can enjoy this kind of having these guys on WhatsApp with you. You know what I mean? So I mean, there's so much you can use. There's so much energy and there's so much of experience. And as I told you, jewelry is part of the business, but you get to know them. So you get to know their family, you get to know their likes, you get to know where they holiday, you get to know their thought process. And I think that's something money can't buy.
Absolutely. So yeah, it's a different kind of challenge altogether, wherein connecting with them, their availability, their choices, a lot of this has to be looked into, right?
And most of the times they're calling on us to find out, are you free at this time? So imagine,
nice.
for once you feel like a celebrity yourself. And I mean, it's God's grace. So that's one example. And a second example very close to me that happened very recently. In fact, I posted it on Instagram because I was so touched with it. Walks in one man from the south of Bombay, shows me a pair of earrings that my grandfather designed in 1970 odd for his wife. And now he tells me, I have a problem. I have two daughters. Now both like these pair of earrings. So can you do one thing? Just replicate. Don't change. I want exactly this. So they both get the same. And that's when I realized that with all this technology that we have and all this machinery that we have, I could not replicate my grandfather's work, because the charm of that piece has gone with the person who made it. You know what I mean? The remaking.
Yes.
So, I mean, for me, that was such a beautiful consumer experience or customer experience to see that someone comes to me after 50 years and tells me, hey, you know what, don't change anything. And I was like, you know what, I'll change it. I'll turn this like this. I'll make the start like this. I was making it sound like, I'll use tech. He's like, no, that's not what I want. I want a clone. I want both the girls to have the same. And that's when I realized that, wow, this is such an error. This is such an error. Yeah.
And in fact, at both the ends, if you see, it was the passing on of the legacy from one generation
exactly.
to another.
So that's exactly what I was telling my father. I said, I held a pair of earrings today that my grandfather held and gave.
Yes.
So I mean, come on, which other business in all the businesses that can show you hand-me-downs like the way jewelry can.
True. And yeah, as you rightly said, no technology can.
I can't. I'm telling you, with all this glass ceiling breaking, I couldn't replicate something that was done, and that made me feel sad and proud. Same time, sad that I couldn't repeat what my grandfather did, but proud that wow, it's a piece that cannot be replicated.
Absolutely. Nice. Well, that was such a wonderful incident.
Thank you.
From one of my last questions, I would like to know, what is that very important piece of advice that you would like to give to the students who are going to graduate or just graduated, done their courses in this industry? What would be that very important piece of advice that you would like to give to them?
So honestly, what I have basically learned in this journey so far is if you decide to be in this profession, don't be in it for, I mean, of course, be in it for the money, be in it for the recognition you get, but be in it because you're passionate about it. There are right now, I mean, if I may call myself a mom and pop shop, I am one of those. We do have these giants coming all over us, opening so many stores, and of course, having these huge budgets that we can't compete with for any reason. So instead of getting in that rat race and getting insecure about that, create something special. Create something that you personally feel is an extension of you.
Right.
If you have to innovate. There's no shortcut. We still come to work with the same amount of enthusiasm and put in the same amount of hard work. So know that that's a part and parcel. If you're a retailer, then forget having weekends and all that stuff. I mean, that's all a given. That's all a given. But I must go to say that I would say keep yourself agile. Keep yourself very agile. Keep yourself wear horse blinds when you work. You don't need to say what your next competition is doing. I think that's a waste of time and energy, honestly. Believe in yourself, wear horse blinds, and create something spectacular, and be passionate about it. My thing is be passionate about whatever you do. Right. Passion will last, because there are ups, there are downs. We also battle this day in day out. But I think as long as the passion holds out, so will the business. Yeah.
Great. And since you've mentioned about this passionate, it is something as a question I have just thought of. It just came to my mind. So like you said, we all see ups and downs. How do you deal with the situation when you feel a little low, when you see it a little down? How do you look at things?
That's a lovely question. I recently went through one of these downs. So I think honestly for me in life is, I know I'm here on a journey. I know there's something I have to do. There's a reason why we are all here, right? We all have a calling. I feel this is mine. I genuinely feel this is mine. And we may not have all the answers. We may not have everything, but I truly believe, and that's why we have a brand called Faith, because that's where it streams from, right?
True.
I truly believe if the faith is strong and the conviction is strong, you'll hold, and of course God is with you, and then nothing happens without His permission. But if you have these aligned, then nothing can bring you down, and nothing should bring you down. Nothing should bring you can have your off days. I have quite a few of them at times.
Right.
But I think when I come to work, I just look around, and there's so much to be grateful for, and there's so much to carry forward.
True.
So these look like stepping stones rather than blocks.
Putting you down. Yeah.
They look like stepping stones. They're just making us stronger.
Strong. Thank you. That's beautiful piece of advice.
Thank you.
And I will keep having questions, but I would check. I would like to ask the alumni attending if they have questions and they would like to put forth questions. They can put in the Q&A section or even in the chat, and we can take it up from there.
Y'all also have some photographs that we have shared with you all. So if,
Oh yes,
if ever y'all feel
meanwhile.
like, just to give them a little more insight, I'm happy to.
Yes, meanwhile, we can share that. I'll just do that.
Thank you.
While we are putting up the slides and we'll share those photographs, I had a question for you, and
Sure.
if that's okay.
Yes, please.
So,
Excuse me.
one, if you could just, it's actually a two-parter question. I believe many in our audience might know what AS Motiwala definitely is and what it stands for, and you've shared such wonderful stories. If you could also talk a little bit about faith and what it means to you and how it came into being, and what sort of future plans do you have for faith, if you could talk a little bit about that.
Well, this is a one close to my heart. Thank you for asking. You guys are asking brilliant questions. So Faith was born in 2018. This is like how Manisha was talking about. This Faith came out of one of my very big downs in life. And there was something I was working on that didn't work as planned. I was quite upset about the whole deal. I'd worked very hard towards this goal. And I just remember I was on a flight back from Hong Kong. This was something, and there was, they have these tissue papers that they give you the nuts in, and something. Of course, and your mobile's off, so you're just with your thoughts. And I just thought that, okay, how should I be looking at this? And all I did was I had a pen, so I just wrote, just have some faith. I just wrote faith on that cocktail napkin, if I may. And for some reason, I put that napkin in my pocket. At some reason, I go back home, and of course I'm emptying my pockets, and I see this, and I was like, okay, I'm going to try this again. So we launched Faith, which is a Pret line of AS Motiwala. Faith came out of the whole reason of AS Motiwala being a very, to put it this way, a serious jeweler. People always said, oh, legacy jeweler, serious. You're getting married, you walk into AS Motiwala. It was that, it had that lovely the branding as well, which I love, but it didn't seem very inclusive. It seemed very exclusive. I wanted to change that. So we started Faith, which was more of a same philosophy of AS Motiwala pieces, design, ethics, quality, not cataloging, high level of design, finish, and everything. And not at a more expensive price. So basically, you have to understand, when I sell an AS Motiwala big necklace piece, I'm engineering it well because I'm getting the value for it also. Now, I translated the same philosophy because no one was doing it in the market. Everyone was making those smaller pieces day to day. I wouldn't name brands, but 9 to 5, this and that, but very crudely finished, not great, any design element. Faith changed that. So we got Faith in, we made it more of a young girls jewelry, something that a man doesn't have to walk in with the girl walks in herself. She buys it, starts at 30,000 rupees onwards, but still designer, still not catalog. And that's how Faith was born. So we grew Faith out of a down. We came up with something that I felt the market needed, or more importantly, AS Motiwala as a brand needed to show that we are more inclusive, we are more fun as well. I mean, we can be young as well, but still give you value for your product. So we make sure the diamonds are VBS. We all certified. I know GIA does not do jewelry, so there's another lab, of course, that certifies the jewelry, which is credible. So we did away with all this stuff, and then we grew Faith into 11 Taj locations. So Faith was born like that. It's something that came out of a down, something that came out of the intention of having a lot of faith. And by God's grace, I think the way Faith has grown from 2018 to 22, none of our brands so far have grown at that speed.
That's amazing.
Thank
That's
you.
amazing. And I think it's also a very personal story for you, Mr. Motiwala.
It is. So as I told you, this is so close to my heart. This is so close to my heart. I wear a band every day of one of our collections which has Faith written on it. So you can understand
Wow.
what it means to me.
Beautiful.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So before I turn it over to Shiv, because we have few questions in the Q&A from
Sure.
our alums.
Sure.
If we will just go through this presentation, and I'm sure there's a lot around these slides also, a lot of stories around this.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
happy to if anything.
Yeah,
I'll quickly take you through this. The first picture on the left is that passport I was talking to you about, my grandfather,
Yes.
my
Yes.
great-grandfather. So this is a British passport. This is how the British used to give. It used to be a piece of paper, and they have written his name. You can see the state of Kutch. This passport is available for 6 months, and it's shown that it's given on the this is a little blur to me. I think it's 26th day of July, 1915. And this
Yeah.
has a flip side to it as well, which shows that he's traveling to Persia. Yeah, it's written, proceeding to Bahrain in the Persian Gulf for the purpose of business in pearls.
Yes.
And on the flip side is even more interesting. I'm not sure if you have it, but that shows his signature and has his thumb impression. And yeah, so this kind of goes to show that we've been in the business for a while.
For a while, yes.
Yeah. And on the right is a walking stick that we designed for King Abdullah of Saudi Arabia. Of course, he's passed away. But this was designed with all F color IF and VVS diamonds. They were the top grade non-treated Burmese rubies. Needless to say, a royal family member of a high value was giving it to the king. There's a letter of appreciation as well that's come from the person who gifted it. Both are royals. And by God's grace, there's a picture of the king holding the stick. And I'm happy to say that now this lies in a museum, and it has a small logo in the box that is manufactured by us. So we're happy to have that.
Beautiful.
This is a bit of the revamp we did. As I told you, we never advertised, we never did anything on the thing. So when we started 4th generation, this is our first. Sorry, it looks a little aged because it is. But this is how we launched our flagship store. On the right is when we launched in Taj. This is how we launched it. We created an exclusive, beautiful ring that kind of resonates with the dome of the Taj Mahal, the iconic dome. And we launched Taj. This, of course, was 4 stores to begin with. Now we are, I think, 11 stores strong.
Brilliant. So it was all 4 stores simultaneously?
Yes. So the fun part is that's exactly how I did it, because that's how I envisioned it for. I mean, I think I prayed and manifested for it for Faith. So when we took Faith to Taj, we launched 4 centers together. Like a pack, not 111. We went all out, pan India. So we took Hyderabad. We took of course, the 2 iconic locations of Bombay, because here we are, and of course the iconic Taj Mahal in Delhi. Yeah.
Fantastic.
A little about the awards. As I was telling you, we made a lot of design changes, our philosophy in design. This shows us winning. So we won this for couture jewelry. On the left, this is something that we actually recently got for quality control in the company. The one on the right is the one I was talking to you about, that famous necklace set. If you can read, you can see winner and editor's choice. So we won 2 awards. You can see winning 2 awards. Yeah. So this is that. So these are a few by God's grace achievements and acknowledgements for the change in design and what hopefully we bring to the table.
That's brilliant.
This is the store. Just a little thing of the store. So the style of the way we have done up the store, the amount of open spaces we have left. We have not left it. Sometimes you walk into a jewelry store and this counter.
Right.
We don't want to do that. We want a consumer to feel private, feel special, feel whatever, and give them a lot of space to go around. So we do lovely events, like how I think you've seen. This was the launch of Faith, when we launched Faith.
Right.
Yeah, celebrating Faith by AS Motiwala.
I was wanting to.
Yeah. So this is how we launched. This is how we launched Faith.
Right.
At the store.
Nice. So I think this is all that we had in terms of
fantastic.
The images from your end. And over to you, Shiv. We have few questions from our alums. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Manisha, and thank you, Mr. Motiwala, for these wonderful stories. I believe if we had a few more pictures, I think there could be many more stories. But we do certainly have.
We'll surely do it in the next session.
Yes, certainly.
Yeah,
Certainly.
hopefully we would have achieved something more by then. If God's grace.
Yeah, hope so. So there are a few questions from our alum and also some from our students who are keen listening to you and these wonderful stories. So let me put forth the first question that we've got. So Jimmy, he says, thanks, Ashraf. What was technically difficult when you faced whereby you couldn't replicate the earrings? I think he was talking about the
Yeah.
that you shared about
So
the
Jimmy,
design.
you know what happened is there used to be these amazing karigars that used to come from different states of India, right? Arts and crafts of India. I personally tried to source out exactly where this earring was manufactured because my grandfather used to manufacture in those days in other places, besides Bombay having a hub. Amritsar would specialize in something, or Delhi would have something. So I could not connect the worker and the workmanship with who's manufactured that. And I went all over. I went to all the old contacts. And then the lesson I learned, which is super important, is number one, there were X amount of natural stones in that in a form of a color that we will not get anymore. Number two, there was a kind of a tar, kind of a beautiful, sorry, I'm using these words, they're a little technical or whatever, but I don't know the English variant, but the tar, like a pipe kind of setting, which, those workers don't exist anymore. They've all passed away and the talent has not transferred. So there was no machine then, right? So that's the reason why I think we couldn't replicate the earring.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been great if
we tried. So I honestly tried because this man was like, he was so insistent. So I told him, I said, sir, I'm going to work on this, and I kept those earrings with me for I think 2 weeks. I called my workers. They actually, so when we call a review for a design, they know it's a big deal if the boss is saying everyone come here. So there's some new collection is coming up or something like that, right? And when they came here, I showed them. I said, "Ye kaun bana sakta hai? Tell me." So it's as simple as that. But unfortunately, I mean, as beautiful as jewelry is, some artisans are artisans, and
absolutely,
once they are gone, it probably goes with them.
Absolutely. It's very difficult. It must have been very difficult.
It was honestly, it was. So as I told you, it was bittersweet. It was bitter that I couldn't do this, and it was sweet because
you could hold that piece.
What my grandfather sold cannot be replicated.
Great. So, Mr. Motiwala, there's another question which has come in. Yusuf asks, how does one build a powerful business using direct marketing? He says, without a store, within the purview of selling jewelry made by a good manufacturer.
So this is a lovely question, Yusuf. And in fact, when you find the answer for this, please share it with me as well, because I've not cracked this one. But I would say it's just, so when he says direct marketing, this means social media direct marketing. I just need to understand. Is it a DM? Is it a direct message or direct marketing? I'm not understanding that part of it.
He's just mentioned it without.
So that's online, basically. When he's saying without a store, that means possibly like online.
Social media. So Yusuf has replied, social media family network.
Yeah. So I think this is a great place to start, Yusuf. This is if you have a family network to begin with, I think that's your best testing ground. You can. I'll give you another story. Sorry. So it's when I was starting this new business, and we created this whole new line of jewelry and new machines, and we imported everything. Nothing was old. As I tell you, I was not given, or I did not take anything from the old store. It was a fresh start. It was a clean slate, if I may. So start like this. Start with your family network, because when I manufactured my first pair of earrings, my mother, my sister, and my wife used to always complain to me of how heavy our earrings were in the old store. Being jewelers' wives, we used to go for jewelry, for weddings, and they would of course borrow some jewelry from the store, whatever's latest, and they would keep complaining, "Oh God, our ears are going mad. It's hurting so much," the first thing I did is in the new manufacturer, I kept a tray on the dining table. All these 3 ladies were there. I said, could you all please try these earrings? And they wanted, oh, it's quite light. Oh, we're not feeling. So try it with your family network for sure. Build your confidence. Don't fall back, fall forward. And I think, Yusuf, this is the best way to go. Build it like that. I mean, I don't have the ways, but I would say try it this way, do something different, and try to leverage this and work hard, and hopefully, God is with you.
Excellent. Karan asks a very beautiful question, and I say beautiful because it has the component of jewelry design, and I know it's very close to your heart. He asked, which design element would be most prevalent in 2023, and any particular color stone that has been selling well for the past couple of months?
Yeah, this is a lovely question. So, Karan, I have a flip on this as well. So what we started doing in 2022 is that we realized that, or rather, there was an intention of giving back, because Faith was doing fantastically well, and we said, we have to somehow, our ideology should transfer to the consumer. We created this line of affirmation accessories, exactly what I'm wearing here, as for men and women, more for women because that's our target audience. And we had these lovely 9 words of gratitude and faith, belief, and all this stuff factored into it, and called it affirmation accessories. It's again made with the highest quality of diamonds and gold, and the straps come from Switzerland. So basically a lot of R&D was done. It took us 8 months to make this product. And I think this, for us, I'm not sure about the color stone, but for us as a brand, when we have a bouquet of AS Motiwala, we have Faith, we have some other Polki new invention, what we call new avatar. I think one thing that was missing in our bouquet was something cool, something that has gold, diamonds, and a beautiful rubber strap, and looks something that you want to wear every day. So I wanted to basically, our intention was make someone wear this every day, make them look at it and say, okay, I have belief, I have faith, I have hope, I'm grateful, or whatever it is. And the beauty of this line is, I again designed it with a lot of passion and hoping that it's going to sell very well. And this is the first thing, and I'm happy to report that all our consumers, we are selling this out of Taj as well from our locations. And the report I'm getting first time from Taj is that, sir, a Frenchman bought it. Sir, a Japanese lady bought it. Sir, normally it's always Indians, expats, travelers. So this wasn't my intention. I think this is a gift from God. I think I just stumbled upon trying to be a brand that has an international presence, and more importantly, an international audience, not only Indian, Bangladeshi, Pakistani, and so on and so forth, right? And Arabs. So for me is that I wouldn't know about the color stone part of it. I'm going in a different direction. We are mostly, and to answer your question, we are mostly hardcore diamond specialist guys, but we are seeing a lot of people asking for sapphire these days, if that answers your question. I know people shunned away from that color and that stone for a while, but I'm seeing new rebel brides who are asking for sapphire with their diamonds. Yeah.
Excellent. There are a couple of questions, heavy questions from Richa.
Okay.
Heavy, I say, because the first question is, what, according to you, are the top 3 challenges for a company like yours in the industry today?
The biggest challenge is, of course, these retail big corporate giants who come in and kind of make it a little more difficult for us. I see that I wouldn't see that as much as a challenge. That kind of helps us realign our sales a little better. Who do we want to stand for? Because we can't run after everybody. But we would like to show ourselves as a design house. So I think that's how we are overcoming that challenge. I would say the second challenge is that it's not a level playing field. Now, having said that, we certify all our jewelry. We go through all the right channels. We have the greatest, by God's grace, being 4 generations old in this, we have lovely alliances. We align with very like-minded people who care for conflict-free, people who care for cruelty, people who go through blockchain and code of origin. But not everyone does the same. I certify my jewelry from a decent lab. And others will not certify it, or they'll say it's that, but it's not that. So that's a big challenge. If it's not a level playing field, I'm saying it's VBS and it's certified. Someone else is saying it's VBS, but there's no certificate. So you're taking his word for it. Chances are there's not that much honesty and clarity. So those are challenges that we face. But again, as a company, we still want to stand for, we want a consumer to know what they're buying. And it's important that it's transparent. Just because we are 4th-generation old, we don't want them to trust us. Gone are the days. It's lovely that they trust us, because half of my consumers, when I give them the certificate, they say, "Tu rakh tere saath. We don't want, we know you." But the fact that that is there, right? And I would say, yeah. And the third challenge, if I have to say, if there's a third challenge, I honestly think all these government rules and regulations, which is fair enough, which is great, but with all, with the GSTs coming on, and there's some important goal that increases and all, but these are all market challenges.
Right.
And I mean, this also feels like a level playing field, because it's a challenge that the industry faces in general, not necessarily me alone.
True. I think one of the points which you mentioned is something that Richa's next question is about. You mentioned about ethical sourcing, and Richa's next question is, how do you ensure responsible sourcing of colored gemstones?
So, Richard, just to update you, we rather are more of a diamond jewelry company than a colorstone gemstones. But if it has to, it's again through the right alliances. It's who people always go. In this case, and I've shared this in the past, you could get a cheaper product from a company that's not ethical, or you could get that same product ethically. Maybe you pay a little more, but your conscience is kind of clear. I'm happy to say most of our consumers and most of our HNIs believe in that as well. So it makes my job easier to be aligned with the top. So we recently just sourced, not recently, it's been pre-COVID, we sourced a beautiful pair of emeralds that actually have been cataloged in a book. They're so rare that they've been Gobelin certified, and they're cataloged in a book as a rare thing. I went through the right channels, went to the right person, got that high value thing, and explained to my consumer that, what, we could get it cheaper if you probably fly to Dubai, but I cannot do this for you. You'll have to get it here. We'll have to pay so much duty. We'll have to do this. We'll have to do that. To that, he said, Ashraf, everything legit. I'm buying this. It's a high value thing. I don't want any issue. So I'm lucky that I have consumers who come to me for that. Makes my job easier.
Great, excellent. Lakshit asks, do you see any change in consumer trend shifting towards laboratory grown diamonds?
Lovely question as well. So, do I honestly say? I'm not sure. Is it happening? Yes, but may I, just state for the record, like for me, lab grown as a business does not make sense. And I have quite a few reasons. And of course, if consumers come to me, having said that, if my consumers want that from me, I will not deny them, but I would like to educate them that the beauty of a diamond, at least this is what works for me. The beauty of a diamond is that the youngest diamond takes 3 billion years to form, right? I mean, look at the romance in that, right? It's even older than dinosaurs. So my point is, and it holds value. We have seen natural diamonds holding value across centuries, if I may, right? Whereas a lab-grown diamond may, of course, chemically be the same thing, but where's the love story? It's made in a lab, it's made in a day, you can get as many of it, it's not scarce. And more importantly is, where's the investment value? So why would you want to put your money in something that next month is going to be cheaper, retains no value, and honestly does not have number one, the love affair. And also you'll have to keep in mind that these mines, natural diamond mines like Botswana and all these places, right? A lot has changed because of this. I mean, there's a lot of good that comes out of natural diamonds. There's a lot of, besides the romance part of it, there's so many employment things. Of course, okay, CVD also has that. But what about, making countries richer? See what's happening with Botswana. See what they're doing with polio. See how they're uplifting and educating and how they're getting AIDS down, right? This is all the power of that mine. So there's a lot of good happening with it. And that's the way I see it. Consumer can choose what they want. It's after all the consumer's money, and then so that's how I see lab grown. It's probably fun, but it does not make business sense. It doesn't make any sense in form of rarity and the beauty of the formation of it. And I don't think it's doing any good like the way natural is doing. It must be doing some amount of good, but I think natural is also doing a lot. And now I think people have learned. Gone are the days. I mean, those were different days. There was no tech. Now you have blockchain coming in. You have code of origin in natural and all. So you are buying good stuff, and with that purchase, someone is benefiting somewhere. So it's a lovely effect, if I may.
Great. Lakshit also has a second question. I think we're getting all two-parter questions. Lakshit asks, do you see the future of jewelry retail as more online?
No, Lakshit. Though we are online as well, but I personally feel it's jewelry is such a touch and feel thing that we are toying with that idea. I'm being honest. We are trying to see how tech can help us implement a certain standard product to sell and put it on your wrist and all that stuff, and so we are toying with that. But if you ask me personally, I would personally make a high value purchase once I see it and honestly feel it, and more importantly wear it and see how it makes me feel. I think the magic of diamonds, and I keep telling my customers that, I said diamonds are not beautiful, they're beautiful when you wear them. So I'm of that school of thought.
Excellent. Devyani, again, there's a two-parter question here. Devyani says Indian market is still pretty aggressive in jewelry purchase. However, do we see the trend shifting from the regular 22 carat and 18 carat to lower caratage, just like we have it in the West?
Lovely question, Devyani. Very much so. Very much so. So what we are seeing now, if you ask of a consumer shift, a lot of our consumers come for our 18 carat. But having said that, we ourselves have started a line in 14 carat. A new line is in 14 carat gold. The reason we have done that is simple. Gold, as you all know, as a commodity has shot up a lot, as well as natural diamond has in the lockdown. Lab went down, by the way. But these two have gone up. So we have seen a consumer realizing that, 14K is okay. It still has some amount of value. And there is quite a big shift there. There are two schools of thought. Both are correct. Both I'm happy with, because at the end is 14 carat, 18 carat, disclose, your choice, you buy. The second thing, accessory market, kids and teenagers. Oh yeah, so we have under Faith we have a brand called Tiny Treasures, which is created mostly for children, charm bracelets, fun stuff, as I was telling you. And we also are one of the few retailers of the Disney collection in our store. So we have that. So big market for sure. We do see mothers spending a lot on their newborns, and how it is when you have a first child, you go and you buy all the prams and all. So we're seeing that convert in jewelry as well. We're seeing a lot of consumers come and gift their best friends, kids, for the birth of their child, jewelry. And I couldn't be more happier, because that's one thing that's going to even last. It's going to probably even outlast her or him, for that matter. Is going to outlast generations. So I'm happy that the gift is solid.
Beautiful. Nancy asks, I loved that you said one should add essence of oneself while making a jewelry. What is your favorite piece of jewelry? Can you show us?
Oh, so all are my favorites. So no, I'm kidding. I mean, of course, needless to say, there's so much that we do in design. I have a lovely design team who have, if not the same energy, maybe more energy than me when it comes to creation. So I'm blessed that way. There are a lot of pieces. I would probably say, so one of my, maybe I can slideshow this. So to be very honest, one of my favorite pieces, so is the one that Serena Williams wore. Did you all get a photograph? Oh wait, let me show you that. Right? So let me just check this quickly. Okay, I may have this. I'm not sure. So I know in the world of tech, I'm still very analog this way, but so Faith, by the way, was the only Indian brand to go to the Oscars Vanity Fair after party. We are the only Indian jewelers to be worn by a A-listing celebrity. In this case, happens to be Serena Williams, and she's wearing this beautiful pair of earrings. I think it's tough to see for sure, but it's like a peacock. It's exactly like peacock. So we have replicated the feathers, we have replicated the flow of a peacock. And we just sent this one piece, and this also won best diamond earring in in 2018, if I'm not mistaken. So that is my most favorite piece of jewelry. We've created a lot, but this is very close to me is because Serena Williams wore it and I was a tennis player. So having world number one where, I mean, it doesn't get better than this. It
Very
doesn't get better than this.
for everyone in the chat, we have added a link which is faithbyasm.com, and it has the Serena Williams product on it.
Yes, yes, yeah, yeah. So please visit our website. Please see Faith online and get to know a little more about us and what we do. There you go. There you go. Oh, thank you so much. So kind.
Thank you, Manisha. Excellent. We have a couple more questions.
Sure.
So Richa asks, do you think the reason why many companies in the jewelry industry focus on diamonds is because it's difficult to responsibly source colored gemstones, barring institutional sources like Gemfields, Belmont, Potentate? I'm sorry, I probably
Yeah. You know, fair enough. Richa, actually spot on. On that question. I think you know, there are very few companies that are, you know, kind of above board and actually also have some CSR involved and, you know, so on and so forth. I think that's a very valid point because sometimes you don't know, and I'm being frank and I'm being a jeweler, sometimes you don't know if you're dealing with certain other individuals of the how authentic the product is. Is it actually not color, not because we have to keep putting this in all our jewelry and this and that. So Richa, you're spot on that. I think if there are more organized players in this market and we manage to get a decent understanding, like how we have the Rappaport and we know how to buy diamonds, we get some kind of good understanding of how to buy these stones and how to grade these stones better. There's a huge potential there for sure.
Yeah, certainly, and it would all contribute to responsible sourcing and
exactly. Yeah. There's no reason why. I honestly think I think people romance diamonds the most, so that's why that happens the way it is, and the other stones get not the same crown. I think that's probably a reason why.
Right. Vijay asks, since you have a great legacy, I'm sure you may have faced challenges to retain staff. If not, then how do you win their heart for long-term working with company? I think that's an interesting question.
Yeah, this is a lovely question. Yeah, so of course, like any business, we are faced with that. But again, we have a different spin-off when it comes to our staff, right? My oldest staff, who's with me right now, has been with us for around 35 odd years. So I've basically trained under her in the good old days, right? And the reason I think we retain most of our staff, if not all, is because it's the environment I feel that we try to create. We are quite like family here. We have our own personal relations with each other. We know what's happening in their family. We know you know, we try our best as promoters to show them that it's not only transactional that we have with them. It's something we've invested in knowing them, in their family, and, you know, watching their kids grow, if I may, and, you know, getting them married off or whatever be the case. So I think they know where we come from. They know our intention, and in return, I would say I'm just very blessed to meet the right people. The right people they always come to me. And the right ones stay, the wrong ones go. Or I wouldn't say the wrong ones go. The ones who don't align, or, you know, may have some other things in mind, which is fair enough. I mean, I would not like to hold anyone back. But so far, by God's grace, it's under control. And the reason that is because I think we connect as a team. We connect. We are one family. We are one vision. And the beauty is they believe in it and they make it theirs. And when that is done, then, you know, I'm being honest, then it's family. It's a connection.
Very true. Excellent. I think that was the last question that we had from the audience. I will just check in if there are any more. Yeah, I think that brings us to the close of today's Legacy of Leadership series. It was excellent just listening to all the wonderful stories. I'd like to hand it back to Manisha and Apurva sir for final comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Shiv. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Shiv. And before I hand it over to Apurva sir, special thanks to you, Mr. Ashraf. I know you had a very busy schedule. It was just not easy for you to get onto this this session, and you still made all possible efforts, and you're here, and it is really wonderful listening to all the stories, and those images made it even more engaging and interesting. So thank you so much for all this information and sharing your stories, your insights, and your journey altogether. Thank you very much. Over
It's
to
such a
you.
pleasure. Thank you. It's
Right,
such a
right. So
pleasure.
thank you, Ashraf, for your time. And time and again, every time you were addressing a question and kind of taking off the different layers, from
Yeah.
what we see versus what really is inside. I think the only thing that got underlined multiple times is excellence is not a coincidence. It is
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
a choice. Yeah, it is
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
choice that we make, and that
Yeah.
choice you actually demonstrated in your conversations that it can vary from the designers that get chosen, or that the employees that they get chosen, or the material that gets chosen, or the state of mind for creating something that gets chosen. Just writing that word faith on your handkerchief. I mean, amazing, amazing. So
Yeah, thank
thank
you.
you for these insights, and thanks for these, experience. I still, some of your, couple of your responses about your grandfather's rings, and the other one about it actually had goosebumps. And thank you
It
for that
does. It still
experience.
does. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for just pouring it out. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me over. Needless to say, I told you this on a call, Apurva. I'm humbled and I'm honored. Uh, I mean, to be part of GIA kind of projected me in the direction I am now. And here we are 20 years down the line. I'm talking to the institution that made me believe that I should go back into jewelry and do something differently. So thank you. I'm so humbled and I'm so honored. Thank you.
Pleasure
Sure.
is all ours. It's
Sure.
pride. It's a pride moment to have our alumni here with us, and they sharing all of this with us. It was wonderful, and we would cherish this session, the information, the knowledge, and knowing that our alumni are somewhere at the top of the world. It's really nice to know. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for
Thank
this.
you.
Excellent.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone. Bye-bye.
All
Bye-bye.
the best. Bye-bye. Bye-bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you for taking your time out and
Sure.
listening to me. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Sure, sure. Thank you, all the
Pleasure.
participants, for staying
Thank you.
on
Thank
till
you,
the end.
participants. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
taking your time out. Thank you. God bless everyone. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.
See you.